Here we go. I've told this a couple times. All right, yeah, so basically I was, if you haven't heard, so I was out, I had to pick up a couple guys from the airport, and so I was out of my car, and actually it rains in New York. I know it probably doesn't rain here, but it was torrential downpour. You guys just live in, perfect heaven place over here, but it rains, and there's, bad things that happen in other places in the world. You guys don't really know about this, but so I was cleaning out my car. I was like, doing all this, and I'm rushing, I'm getting soaking wet, and I start hearing this crazy noise, like repeatedly. I'm thinking it's like an animal dying or something. So I look across the street, and a couple houses down, I see someone kind of standing in their driveway in torrential downpour on his cell phone. So I'm thinking it's like a husband and wife yelling on the phone or something like that. So I don't want to keep looking. So I'm like, doing my thing. I keep hearing it. I'm like, this is weird. And all of a sudden I got this like weird feeling. I'm like, you know what? I was rushing to the airport anyway. So I'm like, let me get in the car and drive. The way my house is, if I go to my right, it's basically like a dead end. So I'm like, let me just drive that way and then make a turnaround to get out of here. As I'm driving that way, I kind of put my window down. Just, I don't want them to think I'm looking. If it's like a husband yelling at his wife, I don't want to be staring at him and make him feel awkward. So I'm just driving. I put it down a little bit. I'm getting like splashed in the face by water, and all of a sudden, like as I get a little closer, it starts coming to fruition what they're really saying. They're yelling, "Help me, help me!" And I'm like, "What the heck?" So I stop the car on the street. I jump out, and this old lady. She ended up being 94 years old. She's holding her neck, and she's just pouring blood everywhere, just squirting. I'm like, so obviously right away, I'm thinking that she got stabbed or she stabbed herself, and I'm like, I don't even know what I was thinking at the time, but I was like, all right, I don't know if I said anything, but I was like, all right, let me bring you inside. She had her garage door open. That's how she came into her driveway. So I brought her into her garage, and I found somewhere for her to sit, got her to sit down, and I start calling 911. As I'm calling 911, obviously I'm trying to keep her calm. You're gonna be okay. And she won't stop yelling. She's just screaming noises like I'm like, calm down. And so I call 911, and I get the 911 on the phone. I'm like, listen, I got a really old lady here. She's not doing really good. This is the address. We need you here right away. They're like, all right, let me transfer you to emergency services. So they transfer me to emergency services. Literally 20, 30 seconds go by, no one picks up. I'm like, what the hell? So I hang up, I call 911 again. Same thing. I didn't give the description again because obviously a different person picks up. Then they transfer emergency services again, no one picks up. Thank God, I have a lot of friends in the neighborhood. Called the cop, one of my cop friends that lives in the neighborhood, and he's a police officer in the neighborhood. I'm like, yo, listen, you gotta get someone down here right to my house. Someone's across the street, she's not doing good, you need to get down here. So he actually called people, made it happen, they came down. Are you guys laughing at my accent? All right, you don't hear a thing. All right, so basically the people came up, and during this time it ended up being she had a monster gash on her back of her head, and she fell back on a glass table. And so I was taking like paper towels and just holding on the wound, and then it would fill up with blood. I just kept like, I went through like 2 huge things of paper towels. And then she's all right now, basically. So the paramedics came, and she was on blood thinners, like a lot of blood thinners, so that's why I was pouring blood like everywhere. It was like pooling on both sides of her neck, and I didn't know where the blood was coming from at first. But anyway, yeah, so thank God she's alive, and she's good, and I think that's pretty much the excitement of the story.